When we are writing mathematical models, we usually choose the variables x and y, though we can use other letters as well. But for the purposes of this lecture, we're going to choose x and y. Now, how do we choose? We need to determine what is the independent and dependent variable. X is the independent variable because it is independent. It can be anything that we want to put into the equation. Y is the dependent variable because its value depends on the value of x. We can also say that y is a function of x. The notation would be f of x, or we could just say y. So y equals f of x is the same notation. Now later on, you are going to convert Fahrenheit and Celsius. First, I'm going to say Fahrenheit as a function of Celsius, and Celsius as a function of Fahrenheit. So this is y is the function of x, f of x, the variable as a function of c. So this is f with c as the variable, and this is c with f as the variable. So that is a little bit about notation, a little bit how to read this stuff. When in the context of the class, we're going to talk about a cost function. So that's a fixed cost, where costs that do not change, such as rent, retooling, startup, machinery, supplies, etc. And a variable cost, or costs that change, or costs per unit produced, like materials, labor, and other things that could change. The equation of a cost equation is C of x equals the variable cost times the number of units plus the fixed cost. So in your workbook, it says variable cost times the number of units plus the fixed costs. So let's look at let's look at an example of a calculator factory. So x is the number of units produced, y is the total cost. If we want to produce 1,000 calculators, it's going to cost $25,000. If we want to produce 2,000 calculators, it'll cost me $35,000. My fixed cost is $15,000. My variable cost is $10,000 a unit. So variable cost times x plus fixed cost is 10 times x plus 1,500. This is the equation for this situation. Now, let's look at the next part. If I wanted to know how much 3,000 calculators are going to cost, I'm going to put the 3,000 in where the x is. And that means wherever I see an x, I'm going to put 3,000. So that equals 45,000. What about 6,500? That equals 80,000. We put it in wherever we see a variable. Okay?